I stopped posting on YouTube. I know. And in this video, I'm going to tell you what happened, how I ended up doing this, and what some of the outcomes were. During this break, I didn't post anything for about a month. I had some interesting learning, and I want to talk through these. Maybe it will be helpful for you too. And if you're considering taking a break, I do want to tell you that this is something you can incorporate into your own strategy, so keep watching. So why did I take a break? First of all, this break was intentional. I was in the middle of a 12-week series where I wanted to track and assess and analyze the growth on my channel. I wanted to see what was working, what wasn't working, what some of the lessons were, how I can better understand my audience, and then ultimately tailor my content to provide more value. But I noticed once I started posting these videos, I saw a big difference in the overall metrics on my channel. In prior months, I had a lot of really good traction. I had a couple of videos that were doing really well, bringing a lot of new viewers onto my channel, leading to additional subscribers and engagement and comments and so on. But somehow, once I posted the first video and then continued through the series, I started to notice a difference.
This is what my channel looked like as I was starting the series. You can see these are some of my averages here during normal times. This video right here is the one where I broadly talked about the series and set the expectation that it was coming up. This was the very first episode, so you can see this started here with a high and dropped substantially in comparison. Then you see episode number 2, there was a little bit of a pickup. It went down again. And then similarly for episode 3, there's a dip here. And then episode 4. But overall, you can see from the time I started the actual series with episode 1, all the way through to what I'm showing here with episode 4, there's a difference with what we're seeing compared to how my channel was before that point.
And that led me to investigate what exactly was happening with my channel. Was it something that I was doing? Or was it something that YouTube and the platform was identifying in my videos? Was it something the algorithm was reacting to? There are a couple of things that stood out to me. For example, once I posted certain videos, I would notice a small spike in views, but then shortly after that, I would see it plummet. And this continued over time. And there was one point where I got to the beginning of a month and I saw an increase in views and engagement. And so that made me really curious because at that point, I hadn't really done anything significant to change my approach for this to happen. And so it made me wonder, was there something going on the platform? You all have probably seen videos about this, but depending on what creators are posting, YouTube can make a decision whether it's something within the rules or not within the rules, and this can impact how many people new videos reach. So I was wondering if that was happening to my channel. Was there something that I was doing that was causing the algorithm to potentially limit the number of views and limit the number of people that my videos were getting out to?
So this is where I noticed that things picked up on the channel sporadically. This was roughly a month after I posted the very first video in the series. So it was very curious that without really changing anything, continuing with the series and also posting some other videos, there was this random spike that happened just about a month after I posted the initial video and saw a downturn following the posting of that video.
So that's when I decided, aside from what I was doing, if I just pause everything completely, it would allow me to see what was actually going on. Would I continue to have views? Would everything just fall off? Would it continue as it was with small increases here and there and then continuing to see a reduction in views and the overall metrics? So I stopped posting for the last one so I could better understand all of that. So this was not an instance where stopping and pausing, posting videos, and my consistency on YouTube because of burnout or because I was losing passion. I really wanted to just understand what exactly was going on. I was actually at a point in creating content where I had a decent rhythm. I was working on batch creating content, and so I was posting either 1, 2, or 3 videos per week. And that for me was a good cadence to make sure I was keeping up with my consistency. So what did I discover? Well, during the month of not posting, I noticed a lot of that continuation of the pattern I was noticing when I posted the last few videos. And that was just a very low count in terms of views on my channel, a low number of people who were discovering my videos for the first time, very low engagement, little to no comments, and also pretty much a halt and pause in terms of gaining new subscribers. I had gotten to a nice rhythm of gaining additional subscribers in recent months, and this was not the case right now, where I probably had a handful here and there, and then for many days, nothing. And then in some instances, I noticed that I even lost some subscribers.
So after the spike here, this is the 1 month period where I posted episode 5 and I had one additional video and I just completely stopped posting anything. And you can see that my channel just leveled out completely. I had very low views during this time, low watch time hours, and low subscribers, and even lost some subscribers. So this was the 1 month period where I didn't post anything.
So this continued throughout the month, and it wasn't until the very end of this period, a few days ago, when I noticed something different. Basically, once I got to around the middle of this month, which was essentially about a month since I posted the very last video, I noticed a pickup on my channel again. So a lot of my top videos that were performing well before, that I had identified as evergreen videos, I noticed they were getting a lot more views. I was getting subscribers from those. I was getting engagements with comments, and things started looking a lot more normal.
In this view, you can see how things picked up again right around here in the middle of the month. This again was roughly 1 month since I posted the very last video. Here you see absolutely no traction, and then randomly this picked up and it's continued in a similar way since. Keep in mind that I haven't posted any videos, I haven't done anything, but somehow my channel has been revived and the views, watch time hours, and subscribers is a lot more normal now compared to how it has been since I posted the very first video in the series. This looks a lot more normal from what I was used to seeing in prior months.
So, as far as my experiment, this just indicated to me that maybe there was a period of time where YouTube was giving my channel a pause based on some of these prior videos that I was creating. And maybe the time period is up now. I'll have to see once I actually post this video how it performs and what happens after. If I see a plummet, then I'll be back into that cycle again. If I notice engagement from this video and then other videos that suggest things are a little more normal, then maybe that means there was something in particular going on with those videos that I was creating. But either way, at least up to this point, I feel like I got some type of clarity around what exactly was going on my channel. I think it's a combination of what I had going on in the videos. I think over time, each of those videos in the series where I'm tracking my growth on YouTube, they probably came off as repetitive. And I know YouTube wants to make sure that creators are publishing videos that are fresh and new and authentic, and they're not the batch type created videos where people could be using different tools or maybe even AI to produce them. So note to self, I will definitely be steering away from those types of videos. Some specific things that came to mind is the structure of the video. I had transitions in between, and the sections of the videos were consistent throughout. I essentially was giving a recap of what happened in the past week, and then I talked a little bit about what I would do in the following week based on some of those lessons. Not only is it the video content itself, but I think it's also important to look at the description of your video to make sure that it's not sounding and the wording isn't exactly the same as prior videos. The third thing is around the transcript itself. So if what you're saying is similar to what YouTube has heard you mention in prior videos, chances are these things can be picked up and analyzed by AI if that's what they're doing. So now how did I spend that time? Well, I will say that the freed up time helped me a lot. One is just being able, like I said, with the goal I set out to do, which was to analyze my video. I was able to do that without the pressure of having to continuously produce or even feel disappointed. I was able to see how things were going on my channel without my direct input in that by not creating any videos. and see if my hypothesis coming in was true or not. One of the things that touched my heart is a couple of you reached out to see if everything was okay. You noticed I hadn't posted any videos. You didn't see any major updates from me, whether it's by video or with the community posts. And I appreciated you all stopping by and checking and making sure everything is okay. I think that's one of the beautiful things about being here on YouTube and showing up is that over time we realize that people get used to our content. They look forward to seeing what we have to provide. Clearly, that indicates, I think, that there's some value there that people look forward to. And you start building connections with people who are either on the same journey or they're learning from you and are looking forward to what you have to say and what you have to publish next. So I greatly appreciate you all taking the time to even think of me, check in, see how everything is going, and also being patient and understanding and giving me some grace while I took this time to see what was going on with my channel. Another one of the benefits of pausing, which I didn't anticipate, was freeing up time to do other things. I had started a role not too long ago that became busy, so I was able to allocate some of that time to that. I had other things going on with family where I needed to show up. That also gave me space to do that. And in between there, I had some travel. And in the past, I've definitely felt the difference when I had certain weeks where I needed to travel and I'm juggling creating content at the same time. I usually ended up being delayed. So it was nice to at least have the space to focus on those things, do that without also feeling the pressure of showing up here on a weekly basis, being consistent, and producing multiple videos. And the space was also beneficial from a mental and creative perspective. I was able to recharge from both fronts without, again, the pressure of juggling everything else that's going on in life at the same time. Now, one of the things I also really enjoyed was just being a creator and being a researcher again. So when I don't have to actually create content, it was back to the old days when I was a viewer on YouTube, watching content that resonated with me, really leaning into the browse feature and seeing what showed up in my feed, seeing which videos resonated with me. What is it about different thumbnails that attracted me? What is it about the titles that got my attention? How did creators develop their hook? What was their storyline? How did they edit the video? How did they go about shooting the video? There are so many different things that now, with a little bit of time, I was able to lean in again now that I have been creating for a number of months. So this gave me a whole new perspective of being a viewer, but now as an informed viewer, having been a creator in these recent months. I also had a chance to see different trends that are happening because every few weeks or every few months, you notice some very common videos that pop, they go viral, and different creators try to replicate that, but using their own story, their own voice, their own version of that. So I was able to catch up on some of those as well. And after watching all of these things and looking at all of these different aspects of creating videos, I also saw some opportunities, some gaps, some topics and things where I think I can contribute. It was nice to also have that fresh perspective. You always want to center your creativity in your craft, in what you're doing here. So as much as it's easy sometimes to follow what others are doing and recreate trending videos, it's also important to create content that really brings your unique perspective on the world, your lived experiences, the things you've seen and done, what has worked for you, how you can help other people, bring that to life. When we're able to identify that content, that really sets up our brand and our content portfolio to stand out. Because we know that there are a lot of other people out here creating content. A lot of the content ends up being similar, but the big differentiator is about who you are, how you're showing up, your story. So being clear on that and then bringing angles that really resonate with you that people can't replicate in the same way, I think is a huge thing to discover for yourself as you're on this creator journey. During this time, I also got to revisit my why. With the quiet time, the pause, thinking back on, why I started this channel in the first place, what has been going on in these recent weeks and months where I've been assessing what's actually happening on my channel. I got a sense of which videos have been performing really well, which ones are not doing as well. This gave me a new perspective about what I could be doing here. Why did I show up in the first place? Why do I want to reach a certain target audience? And what type of value do I think I can bring to them? I'm really interested in what I can provide that is very, very unique with my own story, the things that I've done, the opportunities that I've had, the successes, where I've failed, and making sure that that comes to light. And I am also extremely passionate about helping people. That to me is really, really important in this stage of my life. I've had a lot of people who reached out, helped me, coached me, mentored me, took me under their wings. And I'm very motivated and very moved to do something similar and help other people and have an impact in the world. This is something that has always been on my mind, and I think in recent years it's been getting a lot more clear as to how to do that. And content is a great way for me, and I'm sure many of you will agree, but you can really take your lessons, take your stories, package them up in a way that makes sense to you and reach people. It's not just people in your current circle, it's people from all over the world, which is amazing. The fact that what you're sharing can be valuable to so many people and maybe even impact their lives positively, change people's lives. This channel is about versatility, leveraging your own interests and skills and talents in a way that makes sense to you, and packaging up what you do and how you do it to have an impact, to create value, to help others. This has been on my mind for many, many years. The earliest time I can remember is back when I was a teenager, and I started on this path and was very interested in interdisciplinary experiences, thinking, ways of being, ways of taking action, ways of learning. This was something that I specifically pursued when I was looking at different colleges and universities to attend. I wanted an environment that promoted that. I didn't just want to study one thing or just go down one lane. And in so many ways, this has unfolded in my career. I've been able to stick to that. It's also been something that's really helped me advance in different aspects of my career and has helped me with my own personal successes. Given where we are today, there's so many changes happening in business, with technology, with AI, with work as we know it. Roles are changing, job descriptions as we know them are changing. Certain jobs are going away, some are coming in. People are losing their jobs with layoffs as we're seeing in the market. AI agents are coming into play. Automation, augmentation are all part of what we're seeing in the workplace. And what's happening is that people are now in a position where they have to rethink what they're doing, how they're doing it, where they're focusing, make pivots. And all of those different actions that people have to take really comes back to the value they can provide, the versatility, adaptability, building skills. And so with that in mind, I really want to come back to the essence of this topic and why I created the channel. I want to make sure that going forward, my content is grounded in that. Of course, there are going to be different topics similar to what I have on the channel today, where it's very specific to a discipline or something where I have experience and I can speak to that. But the overarching theme is going to be about combining your different interests, your different skills, your different talents, and being able to use that to your advantage, being able to use it as a differentiator, being able to use it for opportunities, using that to increase your own surface area of luck, especially when it comes to applying for work these days. Job hunting is not the same as it used to be. It's not as easy as submitting an application and expecting 5, 6, 10 different interviews. These are becoming more and more slim, and so it's important that people understand how to network, how to navigate, and how to differentiate themselves. So I look forward to new videos that will help me bring that energy, but also align with my overall purpose and what can be helpful in the market for all of you as viewers today, that can help you with tactical things that you're navigating, and that can help you find different ways that you can leverage what you already have. You're never starting from scratch, but being able to identify those skills, package those skills, and position them to the market so that you get the opportunities that you're looking for. Ultimately, I don't want this focus and the benefit of this to just be in the realm of work. I really want this to be something that's beneficial across life. Because in my own experience, leveraging this approach has benefited me not just with work, but in the different aspects of my life. It's important to embed creativity, for example, when you're looking to differentiate yourself in the workplace, understanding different methods of innovation. A lot of those things are things that can be taught and trained formally with education, but there's a lot of life experiences that can surface those things to you. For example, traveling, exploring, taking up new hobbies. These are all things that you do in your life, in your personal life, on your own time. But the principles, the frameworks around them, the muscles that you are engaging and putting in that practice, it all comes back to what you can apply in your work life. And so I see this as something very integrated, very holistic, and I want to speak about it this way, present it this way, but as needed, also hone in to the specific areas of life that we can all work on improving. In many ways, this has actually helped me hone in on my niche for this channel. So my niche is not one discipline, it's not solely one topic. It is being able to leverage your different skills, your different interests, your multiple passions in a way that works for you and works for your life. So if you're someone wired similar to how I am, where you have all these different interests, this is how you've been for a long time, you've been navigating how to do that because the world that we live in tells you to specialize, it tells you to pick one thing and you hold on to that thing forever, but that just hasn't felt normal and natural to you. That hasn't resonated with you. So if that's how you're feeling, similar to how I've felt my entire life, and I've had to navigate the mental aspect of that, the questioning, am I doing things the right way? Should I be doing what everyone else is doing? Should I be following everyone else's path? Feeling like an odd person out when I choose to go left when everyone else is going right. I want to give a space to talk about that and see how beneficial it is, especially in the times that we're living in now. And I want to really highlight that both with lived experiences, but also with the research that supports that. And the specific examples that we're seeing in the market, in the workplace, that suggests that when you have different skills, you're versatile, you're adaptable, that is a huge asset. So I'm very excited to really focus my content on what I said I know really well, what I've lived, what I've done, what I've seen, and package that up and make it actionable and helpful for all of you as you're navigating transition, pivots, rediscovering who you are, redefining who you are in these times that we live in today. If this is something that resonates with you, if you've had, for example, many different titles during your career, I would love to hear what some of these titles are down below. If you've had lots of different interests, if you're juggling many different interests now, in addition to, for example, creating content here, I would love to hear what that is. For myself, I definitely have a long list: business leader, technology leader, adjunct professor, a runner, artist. The list goes on. There's so many different things that I've been passionate about and interested in, and made sure I committed to myself to find time to pursue them. And this has brought me a ton of fulfillment. I'm just happier by being able to pursue my things. This also allows me to reduce my guilt with time passing and trying to make the most of that time to do the things that are of interest to me, the things that energize me, the things that make me excited. And I think that resonates with people in your interaction, how they see you, how you show up. In my case, with my mentees, for example, a lot of people will come to me asking certain questions, and it's because of how I'm able to show up. I'm able to show up in a way that's just a lot more true to who I am, a lot more authentic, a lot more honest. And that's something that is especially important to me that I continue to maintain. I really, really value authenticity, being honest and true to who you are, and living and walking in a way that is meant for you. I think we all have a purpose, and our job is to figure out what that is and to step into that and walk into that role and into that responsibility. I think that's really what helps us have an impact in the world, do things and do work that we are really moved by, that excite us, that brings happiness, but also helps other people. It leaves a mark on the world. So if this resonates with you, if you are someone with many different interests, you're figuring out how to navigate them, some days you've had struggle even finding time and balancing all the different things that you do, let me know. Subscribe so we can keep up with this journey. I am excited to embark on this, and I cannot wait for the conversations that we'll have around this topic in this time. Because like I said, this has been on my mind. I've done so much research on this over the years, and the time is now. And I'm so excited that the time has finally come and we're here and we can dive into this with everything that's going on. If you've enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I cannot wait to see you in the next one.